Hey everyone, it's Thursday. It's 5:30 or 8:30 depending on where you are. And that means it's time for the Geek Chat. So stay tuned. We got a great show for you tonight. Well, everyone, welcome in. You are watching the Geek Chat on the Experience. I'm Beardy Rich.
And I'm Little Black Beardy Des.
And we thank you for showing up to talk some comic books and some TV with us. Hello, Kelly. Hello, Garf Wong. Hey, Paul. Hey, Kenneth. Hey, Nobody's Illusion.
Oh, yeah. We missed you too, buddy. Or lady or person. Your name. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here talking to all you fine folks about what Rich said. Comics, comic book TV, comic book movies. Speaking of a movie, we're not going to be here next week because we're going to see something that's going to be up in the sky. Is it a bird?
Away!
Is it a plane? No, it's Blank Man. We're going to see Blank Man.
I love that movie.
Yes, it's the 30th anniversary of Blank Man, starring Damon Wayans. So it's going to be
I may or may not have tickets for the same day to see Jurassic Park, Blank Man, and Superman in one day.
Wow. Are you serious? You're going to see all of them in one day?
Well, if I don't have to leave the movie theater and I don't have to get out of my chair, why should I?
Yeah. That's a good point.
Well, I think it's one of those things where, depending on where you are, and it's super like surface of the sun hot, then the theater is just like the perfect place. I know kids used to go to the mall. I know some of y'all are like, "What's that?" But yeah, like movie theaters, malls, your grandma's house. Those are the places that folks would go on a hot day because they're guaranteed to be like an iceberg in there. So
I'm seeing them in a dead mall.
Oh Lord.
Well, in a Lazy Boy recliner. And because I pre-bought my tickets, I got 3 movies, a large popcorn, a large pop, and a sandwich for $25.
Oh wow!
So like, hard to beat that.
Man.
Wow!
Damn.
Hey,
wow.
DVD. Good to see you. Hey, Jay.
Hey, Kenneth.
Kenneth got his book.
I'm glad to hear it. Garf Wong will be sending out your book soon. And speaking of sending out books, we have a giveaway. Don't you love these segues, everybody?
I've been practicing. So good.
Yes. So we're giving away this fantastic Bring on the Bad Guys Green Goblin #1 by, I'll let Rich say it,
Greg Land.
Yes, Greg Land. So yeah, we're going to be reviewing this today. It is the second issue, although this number, it's so confusing. Number 1, yeah, of this, in which we get to see how Mephisto did some stuff with the Green Goblin. So it's going to be interesting. I want to see Rich's take on this because it's been a banner week for our Red Devil. You know, it's been a banner week for him.
It has been.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah. Oh, Garf Wong, you should have received your book by now. So yay, I can mark you off of my list. Thank you.
It's a good thing your secretary's on top of things.
Yes. I don't pay him much, but he gets the job done. So okay, everybody. Just want to say I was trying to segue, but then my secretary chimed in. But yes, Mephisto has gotten a lot of shine this week, because if you have looked or have you watched Ironheart, you'll know that finally the big red meanie has shown his face. And surprising, it's the face of Sacha Baron Cohen. I didn't know anything about Sacha Baron Cohen being Mephisto. I tried to stay so far away from spoilers from this because I had no idea what was going to happen. So
his name's been attached for a while, though.
The weirdest thing about it is I didn't no. Okay, I knew that people were hoping that Sacha Baron Cohen would have been Mephisto, but I had no idea that he was going to be in Ironheart. I didn't think about it like that. I wasn't thinking about it. And then when they started talking about, so we're going to review episodes
Issues.
4, 4, 5, and 6, which concludes the 6 issue, episodes of Ironheart, which is terrible because I really think that they did not, by they I mean Marvel, did not allow any kind of word of mouth or anything to grow about this show by releasing it in a 2-week interval. And so I rushed Ali G as Mephisto. No. Yes, nobody's villain. That guy is Mephisto. Yes. And he's alright.
I think it's funny that I know Ali G from the Madonna music video.
Oh.
That's how I know who Ali G is.
Oh.
Isn't that how everybody in America knows who Ali G is?
No, he had a short-lived talk show for a while.
He did?
And yeah, he had a short-lived talk show for a while. You should go check it out. It was very silly. Everyone knows him. I know him originally from Borat and that stuff like that, and the stuff he did as Bruno because it was just very silly. But yes, he is, and it's weird. It's weird because I'm gonna go on not a little rant, but I'm gonna go on a little rant about.
Hey, Alan, welcome in.
Hi, Alan. About Sacha Baron Cohen. Sacha Baron Cohen is actually a really good actor, and I really enjoyed watching him as Mephisto. I really enjoyed seeing his character, seeing how he talks and how he was speaking as Mephisto, and the long hair and the way like the beard was. I don't know. It really. I really liked his portrayal. And then seeing, if you saw the reflection in the spoon, seeing his true red reflection, red, and with the eyes and stuff. What was funny is I didn't notice that at first, and I was like, what the hell? And then everyone started talking about it, and I went and looked back at it.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, I went and looked back at it, and I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. To kind of shortcut that CGI stuff. But I've been speaking a lot. What did you think of Ironheart 4, 5, and 6, or Ironheart?
Hold on, I'm trying to get the picture so everyone can see what you're talking about. Keep talking.
Or Ironheart's One More Day. What did you think of it?
Well, I was really defending the show last week because there was a lot of things. There was a lot of things that people were coming down about, And I'm like, just give it a minute. Just give it a damn minute. I was not as upset. So I really enjoyed episode 4 because 4 really gave you the Hood's origin.
Yeah.
And I think that was needed because we're going into this select item.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know how to do this part. I'm
stuck. Are you trying to post something so Kyle can post it?
Yes.
Oh, Lord. All right, Kyle.
Okay, I put it in Thursday's show. Okay. So
good luck, Kyle.
I really did enjoy that. And I thought, okay, like I said last week, fathers. Ironheart is basically about everyone's father. Whether it's Gary, whether it's Obadiah Stane, or now we have the Hood's dad, which was a nice little misdirect because you thought he was breaking into just someone's house, and you learned. Yeah, so there is what Des was talking about, the scene in which you see Mephisto with the red face. I did not even catch that.
Looking all
crispy. And I think it's funny that you enjoyed him sitting at a table for his entire, like, pretty much existence is him sitting at a table eating. So
no,
that was Mephisto.
When he had his little, don't talk to me like that, boy, kind of moment. That he was, and I guess, and he kept changing his accent, and he kept changing like the vocal tones of his his vocals. I was like, okay. The coffee was too hot. No, you're horrible. But anyway.
So that episode was pretty good. And then, Episode 5, she finally gets it through her thick head that she can't do this alone, and it's a whole kumbaya, and the family comes together, and
Can't
the
have that
brother
scene.
comes over,
You
and
had to have that scene.
oh yeah, you had to have all of it. And the whole thing with the introduction of, oh god, I forgot her name, from Strange Academy. What's her name?
Wait a minute. Is that where she's from?
Zelma. Yeah, she's from Strange Academy. She looked just like the picture.
Wow.
Yeah, she's from Strange Academy.
I didn't draw that connection, and that. So she was the girl that can see dead people and do stuff with dead people.
No. She was introduced in Doctor Strange. She was his like librarian. And they brought her over into here, and it makes sense that how they introduced her.
Thanks, Garf Wong.
Thanks, Garf Wong.
Yeah, we really appreciate that $5. Thank you. Wow. I mean, we'll go spend that on coffee. That's lukewarm, so we won't burn ourselves. Thank you.
So then we have all this. It's all leading up to the great fight that took like 2 minutes. And I will be honest, I did not enjoy the last probably 20 minutes of the last episode.
Why? What did you like? Well, what didn't you like?
For me, the fight went too quick.
Yes. Well, that was money. Come on. It was dark. It was money.
I know, but if you're gonna do it. And then you waste the last 10 minutes with those two having a little chat, and then she of course picks the wrong, like she makes the wrong decision. And I had a right, Kyle. I had a pickup today, and he was downstairs, and he's like, "Did you finish Ironheart?" And I'm like, "I did," and we were talking about it. And he is not he's more Star Wars, where his partner is more Marvel Comics and Marvel TV shows.
Star Wars pretty rough right now too.
So he asked his partner if, was she an anti-villain in the movie or in the books? And I was like, no, that was a choice they made. And he goes, do you think we're going to see Mephisto again? And I said, I don't know. This was filmed so far away or so long ago. And then we have the Doomsday and all the reality, other multiple worlds coming in. I think he's going to be more grounded. And if anything, you might see him more on the TV shows. But there's no TV shows lined up except for Wonder Man. And I don't really think he's going to be in Wonder Man. Who knows with the way Marvel's going. I just can't believe that they made her struggle. And we talked about that last week about how, and you brought it up. And since I've been telling people about what you said, their minds kind of switch, because how did she not have funding going into the show? But they needed they needed that plot point basically to get it going. So we're left with her making bad decisions for every episode. And then she makes another bad decision of a show that is not going to be coming back. And yes, nobody's illusion. Maybe Mephisto will be the next big bad after whatever phase we're going into now. But
the mutant phase, I guess, is coming after.
People
keep saying that. I don't know.
Well, how could you make her so unlikable?
So I think, and please, so here's my thoughts about what's going on. And I really don't. Part of me kind of hopes that they do it, and another part of me kind of hopes that Marvel doesn't do it. And that is I hope they don't do it, because they already tried it. They tried to keep their TV world and their movie world separate, and they said
that was the dumbest mistake.
You can kind of jump in and out as you like. My hope is that, and I don't, and again, maybe as fans we give Marvel too much benefit of the doubt, to think of clever and interesting ways that they could incorporate stuff. And I'm trying very hard to give Marvel the benefit of the doubt, because wouldn't it be awesome if the 3 movies that they pulled off of their roster what if those 3 movies were reannounced as like Midnight Suns? And that ties into Brand New Day. And then we have, instead of all this focus on, Robert Downey Jr. and Doomsday and all that stuff that's happening, that's not even going to be out for like another year, 2 years. Why don't we have like a Midnight Suns kind of movie, in which I was watching? Who was I watching online? It was, I can't remember. He's another bearded guy, who talks about comics, and he was talking about, wouldn't it be cool to have Blade and the Midnight Suns movie, and then have not you. He has a beard, not mutton chop moonshine. Anyway, and wouldn't it be cool if we had those? And so even though we added Mephisto in that show, wouldn't it be great if they were able to retool the Blade movie and have that lead into like Blade and Brand New Day move into a Midnight Suns thing where they have to deal with Mephisto, and Mephisto is the big bad for this sort of mini arc that leads into something else. And I think that Marvel had an opportunity to do that with this, but they kind of squandered it. So part of me believes that this would be a great thing for them to do, and then part of me believes that maybe this is something they were thinking about doing, but then squandered it. And because they already had this, Riri Williams project in the bag, and they wanted to get, get some money off of it, they just kind of left it out there. And for me, I'm really upset about that, because there was a lot of really good world building in this show. By bringing in such a powerhouse like Mephisto. You have the Silver Surfer that's tied to Mephisto. You have the Midnight Suns that's tied to Mephisto. You have Blade that's tied to Mephisto. So you have all these characters that are actually been in, Ghost Rider. You can do a new Ghost Rider movie, or bring back Nick Cage. I don't know. There's when you introduce a character like Mephisto, there's so much stuff that can be like rich content that they could do with him. And then for, like, I'm echoing you, Rich, to have that, be the end all be all of him, and we have to wait another like 5, 6, 7, 8 years before we actually get to see more of this. That's so disheartening, and that's so annoying, given the fact that they probably could have done this. So let's get to some of these comments. The experience, Mutton Chop Cow says, if they retool Blade, I vote Terry Crews for Blade. Mahershala Ali's gonna be it. I think he's gonna be it. I don't think they're ever gonna let him go.
Rich was there last night for the fantasy casting show where we decided that Terry Crews should play Blade, but they would have to shoot him from like a crane to make him look small enough to be Blade.
Yeah, I think I don't think Terry Crews got the chops for it. I'm just saying right now, unfortunately. But Ghost Rider shows up. Yes, probably Robbie Reyes. Nobody's illusion. Yeah, thank you, sir, or person, for agreeing with me. Okay. Rider says, put Mephisto in the next Spider-Man movie. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Okay, you have Mephisto in the new Spider-Man movie. That would be fantastic. Have it be a team up with Riri and Spider-Man.
Oh, no, you don't know? The Punisher is going to be showing up.
Well, that's even better. But because the Punisher was a part of the Midnight Suns, and so was Iron Man. And now that Riri is sort of an Iron Man, light, she could be there. And so it could be Blade, Peter, and Riri fighting Mephisto or other people. I don't know,
All right.
And that's just me spitballing in the air.
I got a question for you then.
Oh.
With Ironheart, and they made the villain a magic-based, were you kind of, in any way, maybe a little bit even, disappointed that we didn't get more of an Iron Man villain focus?
No.
With Iron Man villains?
No. Because last week, and I really wish I would have texted you about this, because after the show, I was really thinking about what could have, like, we always think about what could have. This is what we're doing right now. Is a glorified what could have. I totally thought a great angle they could have took with Ironheart is if you're not going to give us Armor Wars, have Riri Williams be in Armor Wars, and then have her face off against Sharon Carter. Because Sharon Carter is the power broker. That would have been a much better story if you'd have had, Riri, in my opinion, if you'd had Riri working for this company, and she's basically, she has Iron Man, and because she has, Tony Stark, and she holds him in so great regard, and she has, the Tony scholarship, she finds out that someone is using black market stuff, and then so she has to go up against the power broker in order to kind of like fight for Iron Man's legacy or something like that, or work with someone else in order to stop people from using Tony's stolen tech. And you had her in Iron Wars in place of no. She could have worked with Rhodey as well. That would have been the person she would have worked with. She could have worked with Rhodey against Sharon Carpenter.
Sharon Carter.
Sure, Sharon Carter. In an Iron Wars sort of thing. That's what I was hoping that they would have done with this character. Is they would have had her like that, and then had her piggyback into Iron Wars and have that be a through line with Riri Williams if they were going to go the technology route. But because they added the Hood, I knew they were going to go this magic versus technology route.
Yeah.
Which is fine, because I think it was great when they referenced Dormammu, and then Mephisto was like, I'm greater than Dormammu. I thought that was hilarious. But it's just stuff like this. And we're just longtime comic book fans, and we're already spitting, in my opinion, maybe I'm smelling myself, better storylines than what we're getting. And it's just annoying. It's just annoying to me.
Kelly said about got too distracted, busy cleaning up from the actor that behaved badly. It's funny, they pinned a whole phase on Kang, introducing Kang in an Ant-Man movie that made no sense, because the first two Ant-Mans were based on Earth, were heist movies and hysterically funny and good, and then you gave us a CGI, basically just the entire movie's green screened, that did nothing with the characters but advanced a plot that you are trying to force. Much like the Young Avengers, that when that movie comes out, ain't none of those kids going to be young. It's going to be, the old Avengers at this point. Marvel is making so many mistakes that I think it's actually time for Feige to go and let someone else, because if you look at all the problems that have been in the movies, and I'm really sad because Thunderbolts was not a sucky movie at all. Thunderbolts was actually a good movie.
It's pretty good.
But because of everything that had come before, people just shat on it and didn't even question. They didn't even want to watch it. And then we get Ironheart, in which never does she get her name at all. It's actually never once said.
Yeah.
And as for A Secret Identity, her mom is screaming her name as she's flying off in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
I don't. You said we give them too much credit, and we do, because we don't want things to suck. I've been reading Marvel for so long, and DC. People always come in and like, oh, which do you think are going to do better? Fantastic Four or Superman? I'm like, why do we have to choose?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going for the thrill of being a comic book fan to watch these movies, and then we get the Ironheart series, which I gotta say started off great and was disappointing. The show left me disappointed.
With me, I think I will agree. I will agree with you 100%. It started off strong, and it had glimpses of really good moments, but they were not enough moments to make it like good. I mean, it was just sort of meh. And unfortunately, having a character like Mephisto pop up to try and prop up the show at the end, and then and then knowing that it most likely will be wasted, because like we said, we're not going to see him again, or if we do, it'll probably be in One More Day or Brand New Day or One More Day, whatever they're calling it. It'll probably be in that one.
You know what, Easy Reader? Moon Knight, exactly what we're talking about. Moon Knight created a character that we're never going to see again.
Yeah. So, but again, Moon Knight was part of the Midnight Suns too.
I was going to say, so you have Elsa Bloodstone, which was, in my case, I actually thought that was some miscasting for her.
Oh, and that Werewolf by Night.
Yes, you have Werewolf by Night. You have already lined up a Midnight Suns.
Yeah,
because like you said, how hard would it be? I personally don't want to see Robbie Reyes right away. I would be hoping for either Danny or the original to show up.
We already got the original. This Nick Cage, baby.
Well, then let's do Danny Ketch.
No, so what it'll be is it'll be like Nick Cage showing up, and he's going to talk to Robbie Reyes. He's going to be like, "I'm Nick Cage." He's always Nick Cage in the movie. "And I'm a flaming head." My horrible Nick Cage.
Kyle, what were you going to say?
Yes.
Nick Cage Ghost Rider ceased to exist when they put a scene in where he is peeing fire in a movie.
Wait a minute. What was that in?
That was the second one.
I didn't see any of them.
I had to get so hammered to get through the second one. They asked me to leave the movie theater that I was working at the time.
Oh my God. And yet, I gotta agree with Kelly. We definitely needed another season.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I think Marvel now is cooling their heels, and they're just gonna coast into. I think Marvel is just gonna cool their heels, and they're gonna coast on the success. And I do think there will be successes of Fantastic Four, Spider-Man. And I think there might be one more. I'm not really sure. And then
Doomsday. That's it.
And then Doomsday. I think they basically have washed their hands of this sort of quote unquote saga, and it's going to go into it, and they're going to try to reset everything, reboot everything, and then stay the course. And then I was watching I saw a meme. And I thought, like, that was really kind of interesting that only Galactus and America Chavez are the only people who do not have variants. I thought that was kind of interesting. And then I thought to myself, well, I would think Mephisto wouldn't have a variant either. I don't think he does. So that'd be kind of cool if those characters kind of stuck around to see exactly, what's going to happen after post Secret Wars and all that other stuff. So
another hero, America Chavez, that who knows when she'll ever be used again.
Like, she'll be in those. She'll be in those two movies, Doomsday and Secret War. She'll be in that. I think they're banking hard that they will get another. I mean, it will not be nowhere as close to the original two, Infinity, War and all that other stuff.
Yeah,
it's not going to be any close to that. But they'll get a slight bump, and hopefully people, because people have a short memory, they will forget, and then Marvel will be back on top. But I don't know. DC's coming for your lunch, and I love it. So, alrighty, folks. It is time for us to take our first break. But when we get back, we're going to start talking about comics. And I want to see what comics Rich hated. Don't you? Stay tuned to find out. Bye.
Bye.
Boring old Tuesday.
Kick it! Hey, let's get to it.
Henri Copen scours collections and comic shops to bring you the biggest deals on beautiful comics.
I'm very eager to sell these books.
Plus, he smashes those other boring sales shows. Henri's got fire, excitement, personality, key books, FOMO books.
Sexy! FOMO books for ya.
A cute dog. Weird accents.
69, bro!
A wheel of skid bark?
There's a wheel spin at the end of every show.
You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll score huge bargains.
That is Haktua magic right there, all right?
Kicking it with Henri. Tuesday nights, part of the experience.
FOC,
a comic industry term for the final day a new comic can be ordered by a local comic shop. So, what does that mean to you? Well, it's your last chance to order a new comic book from your local comic shop. Order up! The FOC show will go over every book that's about to be cut off every Friday afternoon.
I'm going to highlight some of the stuff that I think is really worth paying attention to,
so that you can put in an order at your LCS for as many copies or as many variant covers as you want.
Sometimes the store needs to know to up their orders.
Never miss out on a popular comic again. Order up, part of the experience.
Twitch, it's not just what happens when you have too many energy drinks anymore. Check out our content over there too.
Hey everyone, welcome back. You are watching the Geek Chat on the Experience. I'm Rich. Well, Beardy Rich.
And I'm Little Black Beardy Des. Hi. But yeah, and as always, we have a free giveaway for you. Rich, please tell the fine folks what we're giving away.
This is Bring on the Bad Guys, the Green Goblin one shot, number one shot. And this is a 1 in 25 by the always traceable Greg Land.
Oh, stop
Actually,
that.
I gotta be honest. This one is not bad. You know who this looks like?
What?
This looks like John Romita Jr. Kind of. Old John Romita Jr. with the way the figures are.
Yeah, it really made me because if you look at the bottom right corner, it says that it's after. So I think it is after him because I remember this cover. It's from some Spider-Man comic, and I cannot remember which one, and I'm blanking on it. So I don't know.
I don't know either. But
it can be yours. You know what we say? Go ahead.
Hashtag Geek Chat.
And you know what we always say? If you don't put in hashtag Geek Chat, Rich gets it, and we can't have that. So no. And as always, we're not the only folks here on the Experience. There is a ton of stuff. Just like after us is Mog and Mel, and then every other. Not today. Sorry. So not today. Mog and Mel's not going to be on, but Muncop Kyle is here to tell us who else is on the Experience. Take it away, Kyle.
So tomorrow, all we have is our Order Up show, our FOC show at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, featuring guest Sienna Blaze from Bad Idea. Then everybody else is going to celebrate the holiday. But I will be back Sunday afternoon with the Producers Live sale, where I will be selling books. But if you guys, we have some time left on our stream goal. If you all 4 more super chats before the middle of the hour here, we will do a Q&A hangout on Saturday with me, where you can ask me anything about comics. Then Monday, we will be back to our normal schedule. And if people cancel, I'm going to break their kneecaps.
Uh-oh.
Well, guess what?
Yeah, he will.
You canceled before the threat was issued. So
you're good.
I mean, honestly, you do sit down for this show, so no one sees you from the chest down. So if your kneecaps are all busted up, oh well, you know.
But seriously, guys, as much as likes and subscribes help, super chats, super stickers, super thanks, the gifts that you can give through YouTube help us just as much, if not more. So we would really appreciate if you guys could throw in and help support us making all this great content.
Yes, that's really appreciate it. We really, really appreciate you all.
I just want to say before us is What's in the Box with Miss Jen. And she had something I'm still mulling about in my head. Do you remember the Black Orchid miniseries on the Prestige? She had all 3 of those. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
I know. I'm like,
Such a great character too. I mean, she was just weird. I loved her. She was weird. But anyway, all right, everybody, let's get to the comics. First up, let's see. That's Sacha Baron Cohen. So first up is a blast from the past, Captain Planet and the Planeteers #1. I told you during these weeks when we have kind of a lull in the number ones, we will go back and see what other number ones that we liked and we think that you all should, possibly check out. Sometimes maybe not, because we're like, oh, this is not that good. But other times something is really, really great. And I have to say right now, as someone who was a child of the 80s, this is really, really great. Anyway, that's just me. So, Rich, take it away.
All right, so Captain Planet and the Planeteers, number 1 from Dynamite Comics. I'm so happy to be ordering Dynamite Comics again. I cannot tell you how happy I am. I'm happy. I can't wait to review Powerpuff Girls and Thundercats. Yes, I cannot wait. All right, so the writer for this is David P. Post. The artist is Emin Okay, here we go. Casalos. Colorist is Jorge Sutil. Letterer is Jeff Eckleberry. And that cover is by the really hot artist right now, Mark Spears. His stuff is so he's on fire, his variants and his covers. So yes, Kelly, he's become Daddy Planet. So I read it, was very happy. Okay. I, much like you, also watched the cartoons. I loved the cartoons. I never pretended I was any of them, though.
How dare you?
I didn't. I was more G.I. Joe, X-Men as playing, because
Really?
toys.
Oh.
They didn't really. I never had any. If there were toys, I never ever had their toys.
No, I thought the ring was really kind of cool. I've always been sort of, a jewelry person. So I always liked accessories. Like if you had a superhero that came with accessory, I was there. Like I have my Legion rings, I have all the Lantern rings, I have Flash's ring. So if
they gave these away, if there was a giveaway for the rings with this, but you would have collected those rings.
Oh yes, Nick, get on it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Give it to retailers. Let's go.
I would love that. All right. So I want to say there's guidelines that I always go by when I'm reading a number 1. And this hit pretty much every checkbox for a new issue for me. It did a great job introducing all the characters, bringing them together. We know what the goal is going to be.
Yeah.
And we have our villain.
Yeah. It pretty much set up everything that you needed to know in the first issue. And it was good. It set up the drama. It set up the stakes. What I like the pacing. And I really liked when Gaia had all of the rings, and then she was calling Captain Planet, and they were and he was saving her, and they were fighting together. And then when she sent the rings out into the world, I got full on Green Lantern, and I thought that was really cool. And then we got a little introduction of all of the Planeteers, and I was like, hell yeah. And then more rings than Shang-Chi. It's so silly. And I really liked how each one of them were introduced, and how they're all coming together now in order to save Gaia. I don't know. I thought it was a really fun issue, and it did justice to the original, the source material, or the original cartoon. And that's what one of my things is. Whenever I read something or anything that is a property from the 80s or my childhood, I try to look at it and see, is this just a shameless cash grab? Or are they really trying to strike at new ground? Are they really trying to expand the mythos? Are they really trying to give us something new than just a rehash in order to really fan those nostalgia fires? And I have to say, most of the Diamond stuff has not done that, and they've all been really kind of really strong on their own, because even if this had not been tied to an 80s property, I think it stands alone on its own really well. And I like that. As for a first-time reader, I'd be able to give this to a first-time reader and be like, hey, this is a really good story, you should check it out. And by the way, it was based on my childhood. Yes, I'm that old. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Don't add me.
Nobody's Illusion, I think it's an ongoing right now. I do believe it's an ongoing. I love that they changed Luton. It used to be Luton Plunder, and now it's Lucian Plunder.
Yeah.
Like, I really like that. I hope we get some of those classic cartoon villains
Me too.
reimagined.
Don't shy away from that, because hey, in a vacuum, nothing's wrong with stroking those nostalgia fires, but
Especially if it's as well written as this was.
It just can't be the only thing, and I'm happy to say that it's not. I am curious to know about the redesign of him, because if you noticed in the original Captain Planet, he was all business. He had the high top wavy fade that came down to a mullet and everything. So for a minute there, it took me a minute to get used to his new design with the yes, he's giving Adam Warlock hair with the green hair and like the beard and the rocks on the shoulder. At first I was like, what is that going on? But after reading it and actually like seeing the character in his like full glory, I really like, it's okay. I like it. It's fun.
Yes. I say pick this up. I say go find this. It is a great read, and I cannot wait for the second issue. Yes.
All right.
This was good.
All right. What's next? Okay, so we have X-Men Hellfire Vigil. Every now and then, you got to hand it to Marvel to kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. It hasn't even been a year, and we're already stroking those nostalgia flames for Krakoa. So this was an oversized issue. It was $7.99 of I would call it story. Yeah. I'll let you do the credits.
Well, there's 10 writers.
It felt like it.
As many artists. I'm going to talk about two that stuck out to me. As always, Luciano Vecchio's art is a pleasure. It is an eyegasm, and I love his pages. And I am really enjoying Netho Diaz. We first saw his art in the Heir to Apocalypse miniseries. Yeah. And now he is, I would say, the main artist on Just X-Men, because Ryan Stegman does like every third or eighth or whatever issue. He's not the ongoing. So Netho has been the ongoing, and he's a Stormbreaker. And I think his art is very, very distinct. And he draws on a lot of, for me, good 90s inspiration. So I enjoy his pages. Another one that was really good was the Sarah Pichelli.
Oh, of course.
Also really hit it. So there was more negative things about this book than good things. And I don't want to dwell on the bad, but I have to say this book was meant to be, like you said, we're saddened that Krakoa is over. But for me, this book just showed how crappy the titles now actually are and what a mess they are. I'm not going to call this a trash book, because it wasn't a trash book. I don't ever need to read it again, nor do I care about a lot of the plot points, especially a plot point that is on a Marvel Infinity comic that I'm never going to read. And I went into this. It was the Banshee and Teresa.
So that's where that's from. Okay.
Yes, that is from their Infinity book. And I don't believe that Teresa would show up with all these mutants around her and be like, I'll kill you if you like threaten Dad. That was unbelievable. Dazzler giving up. Come on, that was a little unbelievable. You are surrounded by 500 people with powers, and you're just gonna let her go. There was just some things in here that weren't. Scott and Kitty both being, I mean, Kitty, I've hated Kitty's character since the whole after. I feel like it's a regression for her character. Like, I remember when she was Sprite, like, she's been through stuff, and I cannot believe that how this ended made her be so regressive as a character. And that is just another thing. And Okay, so Emma stepped up. Is Emma going to open a school? Like, is that going to be the next phase? Are we going to get something from Emma? I don't know. What did you think of this?
I just love hearing you talk about stuff. Sometimes you just, I don't know. Sometimes you and I are in complete sync, and it happens a lot more often than not when we're talking about X-Men. I'll have to say that little flame up in the right hand corner, up in or
The
my right hand
Olympic
corner,
torch?
that little torch with the Hellfire Vigil. Like if Marvel would have gave that away as a pin, would have sold off the roof, because that's a really cool emblem that they could have had to as a promotional item to give away with that book. I think that would have went a long way to make this book better, because if I'd have got that when I bought this book, I would have been so much more happy than what I actually got. I did not like this book. And if I would have had anything to remember it by, that cool little thing right there, that's a pin, I'd have been okay with that. No, this book, it was supposed to be a joyous occasion in which everyone gets together from all their respective books to talk about or give remembrance to Krakoa and what has happened since then. Number one, while I think it was, the whole idea of it was kind of cool in order to do that, I don't think that it was necessary. I think it is, number one, way too soon to do something like this. I think this was a way to get people to pick up a book, because number one, it says number one on the top. It's huge. The Hellfire, the number one is super apparent. And they have name recognition with Hellfire Gala type of situations, because they were so big during the Krakoa era. And I think this was a way just to get people to see what was going on, or a glimpse as to what was going on in the X books. So for a marketing point of view, I understand why they did it.
It works on paper as a marketing.
Exactly.
Yes.
But the execution was really, really bad. I did not like Storm's whole thing with her pregnancy. And then why is Eternity giving her a picture into her future about seeing a baby, and the baby has fangs? Who does she have sex with?
Isn't this Storm's like third kid? Because she
I don't
had
know.
the one with one with Black Panther that was like electrical based. Do you remember when they did that?
Yes.
So now we have another kid?
Yes, she's literally had like 5-6 different kids from 5 different baby daddies in different realities, and she can't seem to pick one, or the editors can't seem to pick one. It's annoying. The whole thing, starting it off with Kamala Khan, please. She can take like a whole row of seats. Just go over there, Kamala. And then I'm just like, the one thing that I did like was the main books, the Uncanny and X-Men, when they came together, and Rogue and Psylocke shook hands, and they were kind of talking about that. I liked that character moment.
Same.
because that's one of the driving forces. I really believe in my whole heart of hearts that if the writers of the X-Men would just basically, and I thought this is what this was. I thought this was sort of the swan song for the current line of X books, save the Uncanny and the Objectiveless X-Men book. And they were going to cut the rest, because you told me that like Phoenix is done, and a couple other X books are done. So I thought, okay, they're wrapping the stories up with this, and then we can start fresh again. No, that was not the case, because we got a teaser saying, hey, check out the rest of these books, and it was all 6 of the books. I really believe that, much like the MCU, less can be more. If they just dial it down to just 2 books for at least a year, maybe 2, and let people. I know they won't do it. But just let people get okay with what's going on with the X-Men, and then start giving us more books. I think it would be a lot better, because this right here was overkill. It was overwritten. I just did not feel that it was necessary in the time and at the time. And again, horrible marketing miss without making that a button. So that's
Yeah.
my final for that.
You know, it's funny. there were small character points in this that I thought were really nice. I really liked the exceptional kids, you know, finally being with other mutants because they haven't been.
I don't like them.
You don't like them?
I do not like that book. I do not like
Really?
that book. I just don't. I'm not a fan of the artwork. I'm not a fan of what's going on over there. I just that book is not for me. And that's fine.
I also really enjoyed Rogue's Kids
I like Rogue's
being
Kids
around
better.
other mutants for a while.
I like Rogue's Kids better than the other kids. The
What did
exceptional
you
kids.
think? What did you think of Colossus's little 4 or
Why?
5 pages?
Why? Whatever.
Well, they character assassination there.
They
or
don't
Pete.
care about him. They don't care about him. Maybe they were trying to do something with him, make him better. I don't know. I don't get it.
I want to get to a couple of comments. Barlord, wasn't this written by people that had nothing to do with Krakoa? Yes.
Yes. It was.
Yes. It's all the people that are writing the books now. And the funny thing about this book is every single writer of those books wrote their own pages. So as the book was going on, you got it
Different
felt
tones.
a little different.
Yeah, different tones.
Depending. Yes. Which was kind of like, I understand why they did it because those are the writers of the books, the writers and the artist. Jean's middle had
get me
zero reason
started
to
with
be
that.
in there.
Don't get me started with that. Oh, we're mutants. We're like space mutants that happen to put our consciousness in crystals and be floating out in space, and you just happened upon us on your vigil back to Earth to mourn your dead, species. Give me a break. Give me a break. I was so annoyed with that. But I did like her and Scott at the end, like them coming together. And that's I am a stan for Scott and Jean's love. Let them be.
Okay. Yes. Hey, Canadian survivalist, welcome in.
Yes.
So this book was a giant miss. So unless you were a diehard X fan, which I am, I still don't want this book.
I will say this. I liked two things. I liked Storm's outfit and her people showing up, and like that kind of like, I'm gonna date myself, and I'm really sorry, Rich, but if you did not stand in formation, not Beyonce, but if you stand in formation for Rhythm Nation when she
Janet
popped up,
Jackson.
I was like, yes, she's giving me Janet with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I was like, yes. So that was fantastic. And the ending with what 4K or whatever they're called, 3K, saying that you are the we are inheritors of new Krakoa and blah 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 because we're adult mutants and we know better and all that. So I thought okay, at least they're trying to give us a threat that they've been pushing for the last year. So I was like, okay, they kind of tried to wrap together at the end, but overall I was like,
meh. So real quick, I just want to say another book that came out was X-Men number 19, the Just, or as Des called it, adjective list. This one dealt with Doug being Revelation, and it was with Bay, his wife, and Warlock. And Doug, since his rebirth, has a new power now. He can make people, he can talk and rewrite your brain to make you follow what he says.
Oh,
and
so he has the voice from Preacher. He
Umbrella Academy.
Oh no, Preacher came first when he could talk to you. And,
the
voice of God.
So I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that issue. It gave a clear direction as to what Doug's purpose is going to be. And then you saw the ad that's been going all online with the homage to the cover where Wolverine is on the Giant X. And there's mutants. So Doug is doing something to these mutants. And I am here for that. So
I haven't read that yet. Okay.
Yeah, and I got to read next week's Uncanny with the new.
Of course you did. You
with the new mutant. So I can't wait to talk about. Oh, we won't be here next week.
No,
we'll talk about it the week after.
We'll talk about it the week after. I'm always even though I talk mad-ish about about like them constantly introducing new characters. Whenever they introduce like New Mutants, I don't know what it is. I just get giddy for that stuff. I don't know why. I like mutants. Like I'm an X fan through and through, and it's
Same.
just whenever they introduce new mutants, I'm just like, yeah, I'm happy because you never know what they're gonna do with them. And this writer is like, because like I know for a damn sure that when Gale is done, ain't no one gonna touch her mutants that she created. So
Nope.
and I'm like, okay, if you like them, you better read them now.
We can say the same thing about the kids from Young X-Men. We could say the same thing about the Five Lights. We could say the same thing about
what is it? The Emma's kids that are going on in the new book. The new book, Emotionless X-Men. What was that one? That Emma's in. What was that one?
Yes, it's
so
exceptional.
Exceptional. Like those kids are out once that writer's gone. It's like
So Kelly, I think that would be awesome if Marvel made a cover that was a giant number 1, and then in the corner box were the heads of the characters that were in it. Like
go all the way down the side of the box.
Yes, that is awesome. So Barlord says another stream had a guy that said this book caused them to drop the few remaining X books. I wouldn't go that far, but
it's a comic book.
It really served no purpose except for, like Des said, to let you in on what's going in all the other books.
Yeah, I mean, if that was the case, I'd have dropped Spider-Man a long time ago because he has had some misses for a long time. So come on now, like we talk ish about these comics, and I feel and that's the thing. Like I feel like I could talk ish about these comics because I have read them for so long, and I think that gives us insight into it. Plus, we're reviewers, and like I've said before many times, everyone has opinions, and they all smell like butt. So just be prepared for that. So I'm just saying. So
all right. So
yeah, probably Kyle, but we'll keep you posted.
We'll probably just do it next.
Yeah. So
so I think it's funny, Barlord, you got X-Men 1. Is that the Jed McKay book? Because that is the one that I always say I just really don't like. Yeah, I keep reading it, and that was the one this week that actually I liked. So it's really weird. I have a love-hate relationship. It's only because I feel like everyone in that book is written so wrong. They're all written so wrong. I hate this new Beast. Magneto is a shell of what he should be. Scott is even douchier than before.
Hey, what I did like though is like they did respond that the writer did say like Beauty and the Beast about Allison and Beast's weird thing they did about the romance and then
that is nasty. He is like her grandfather.
But back in the day in the 80s that was fine. The 80s was a wild time, sir. You knew that.
Well,
but now he has a new girlfriend though.
So was 2000 when Angel and Husk were doing it.
And on that note, we're gonna take our final break. So stay tuned, and we'll be back shortly. Bye.
Come on.
Hi.
I don't know what just happened. Please hold.
We're back.
Bad mood.
Did you know that Arthur, King of the Britons in Monty Python and the Holy Grail was played by a famous Graham? Check out another famous Graham by following our Instagram.
Hey, did you know that you're invited to an art gala? No, I mean the fun kind. It's SketchUp with Mog and Mel.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks again for joining us.
Featured guests talk about their new projects.
So it takes place in this fantasy world where the world has kind of lost its stories.
And life as an artist.
The hope was that you could make some amount of money when you exited art school.
While the ever-changing artist panel draws new works live in front of your eyes.
Oh, I like that. Working on the shadow.
Sexy. Sex, dude.
You still got a little bit of time.
Ooh, Phil, that's dope, dude.
SketchUp with Mog and Mel. Thursday nights. Part of the experience.
Symphonic verses. Nocturne's romance. A song of romanticized darkness, dreaming death by sleep.
Programming on the EXP is made possible by viewers like you, or your local comic shop, or that Kickstarter you backed, or the publisher you like, or comic industry professionals who want to share a message with the world. Really, anyone who wants to advertise with us can. If you're interested in seeing a product you know and love, or are creating, or are publishing, or are involved with, advertised here on The Experience, and having your message shared with our viewers, please reach out by scanning the QR code below or visiting our website and using the contact form.
Hey, y'all, welcome back to the Beardies That Refuse to Go Away show on The Experience.
Yes.
I am Beardy Rich.
I'm a little like Beardy Des. Okay, that's pretty funny.
That was pretty funny. All right, we have a giveaway. You have a half hour to get all of your hashtag Geek Chat in. This is the 1 in 25 Bring on the Bad Guys Green Goblin, which we're talking about next. Done by Greg Land, and we believe it is an homage cover for sure.
Yes, to I think it was a John Romita book cover. But there you go. Put in that hashtag. We want to give it away. And yeah, that's that. So enjoy. But next we're gonna talk about this book, Bring on the Bad Guys, and let us say that our review is in no way, should inform your decision to put in the hashtag Geek Chat to get this cover. I'm just saying that as a disclaimer,
Okay. So the writers were Ethan S. Parker and Griffin Sheridan. The artist is Matteo Della Fonte. The color artist is Mattia Iacono. And the letterer is VC's Travis Lanham. And the main cover is by Lee Bermeo.
I'm enjoying these covers.
All the colors. The covers are gorgeous.
I enjoy these covers. The covers are great. Artwork was pretty good. I enjoyed this artwork. I like that sort of minimalist Chris Samney sort of artwork. I really think that it is fun, and that's what this artwork was. So, in a nutshell, we see that, and I don't like this revisionist history. I think it's kind of annoying. But supposedly, back in the day, Norman Osborn made a pact with Mephisto in order to get some more recognition in his company. I don't like that retcon, and I'll be quite frank with you. It's never been a part of Norman Osborn's character. I think it's unnecessary and unneeded. And I was just annoyed by that, number one. Number two, he made 2 contracts with Norman Osborn. He had that weird dagger that's going around, he had to use it to kill an innocent. And so this book is about Norman Osborn making good on his promises to Mephisto and his weird soul cauldron thing for what he is doing to get power. So that's the story right there. I thought the artwork was good. I enjoyed it. But the overall story was a miss for me. And that was just because they were adding stuff to Norman Osborn's history that didn't need to be there. And it felt very, very forced. So for me, it was a miss. Norman Osborn did not need to have this tie to a demonic entity, because he's crazy enough as it is, and he's chaotic enough as it is, to throw Mephisto into the mix was unnecessary. They could have picked a different villain to do this with. I mean, they could have picked anyone. I would have loved to have it been Baron Mordo, or been I mean, hell, Dr. Druid could have been cool, but they picked Green Goblin for some reason. Hey, anyone would have been better. So.
All right. Well, interesting.
Oh no! Look at the chat. Kyle liked it. Kyle says, I enjoyed this one actually. It was one of those books that isn't supposed to be high art, and it's a popcorn comic. Okay, I mean, hey, that's what I mean. Comics as a medium, and I hate to say this, is for folks with disposable income. That's what it is, And if you find something that you like or that's a popcorn flick, hey, more power to you. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Kyle. Rich, what do you think, sir?
I have to agree with you on the revision end. I'm not a fan of that either. I've always thought the Green Goblin being crazy on his own was him being crazy on his own. And I liked that they showed. So I liked this and I didn't like this. I liked parts of this book. I loved how he said, have you ever killed someone? So this is set up before he kills Gwen Stacy. And his first kill is an actual, I want to say easy kill, because for me, your kids and wife are in the house, and yet you have this costumed fool running around the house and no one notices. Boy, he was that quiet in that costume. All right. I liked that the guy fought back. Like,
yeah, that was cool.
Try. Like, I really liked that part.
Yeah.
Art, oh my God, this artist and the art team. I want to give credit to both.
Yeah, they were good.
Artist and the colorist, was there an inker? No, the colorist must have been.
I think he inked himself.
I was going to say, I bet he inked himself. I need to see these two on another book because I thoroughly enjoyed the art in this. It was dark and moody when it needed to be. The costume of the Green Goblin has not looked this good in a very long time.
Oh, and that last scene where he was pulling off Norman Osborn's face.
And just about to.
Yeah, like the art was great.
Some great foreshadowing right there.
Yeah, the art was great
for the future. So that, I'll go that way. Like the art is really good in this, everyone.
Yes,
like, really good.
It's just the story wasn't a hit for me,
and it was all because of the revisionist history.
Yeah, it was unnecessary. But hey, plot's gonna plot.
Do you think they're gonna do this? So my question to you: do you think they're gonna do this for Abomination? Are they gonna somehow weave?
Oh yeah.
And then you have Loki. What does Mephisto have that Loki would need?
And in which Loki would do Mephisto's bidding. I don't
right. So then Red Skull makes sense. Like I bet he just wants it for power. Dormammu,
again, another thing. So for those, okay, I'll have to say for Loki and Dormammu, mostly Dormammu because I'm a huge Dormammu fan. I don't know why. I'm a huge Doctor Strange fan. So whenever Doctor Strange did anything with Dormammu, I was there 100%. Like. So the fact that we have Dormammu coming in a comic, I was very excited for that. So who knows?
All right, but so this was both a hit and a miss for us. So I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, I know Triple B loves that Larry Lee.
But yeah, all right, Kyle. So what's up next, sir?
Up, we're going to talk about a book, and I just have a couple things to say about it. Gotham City Sirens, #1. Leah Williams was the writer.
No. Unfit for Orbit.
Haining was the artist. Ivan Placencia did the coloring. Tom Napolitano did the lettering. And that cover is, of course, Terry Dodson and Rachel Dodson, in which many, many years ago, a customer of mine said to me, we were talking about Terry Dodson. And he said, I like Terry Dodson. And he was like, well, have you ever seen Terry Dodson not colored? Just black and white. And I was like, no. He's like, you should look it up. All the women look exactly alike without color. And once I saw that, I can never unsee it.
He's a really nice guy. I met him a bunch of times at Comic-Con. So, and I have a couple of his of his drawing books. So okay. Yes, he definitely has his style.
He does. So I only have a couple things to say about this book. I did not want to read this book. I did not even get this book when we did our FOC Coog was like, "Do you want this?" I was like, "No." And let me tell you why. I feel like this book is just, hey, it is time to renew the trademark. We're going to write a book about Gotham City Sirens. Call whatever sub line you want. Yes, Nobody's Illusion. Kind of one part cash grab, one part they know. DC knows that people have a fondness for these characters. I did. I read this. I don't now. For me, this was just, we need to renew the license. Let's do this. And I will tell you why. Spoiler alert. This is why. It took a whole league of JLAers to take down Despero.
Who's the main villain?
I don't believe Three Girls with No Powers is going to take down Mephisto.
Hey, put some respect on Poison Ivy's name. She got power. She did that whole Jedi mind thing with her pheromones to get in.
Okay. And then you have a cat with a whip and a crazy girl with a hammer. No, Mephisto. Not Mephisto. See, I got Mephisto on the brain. Despero, all he's got to do is open his third eye and take them all down. I don't believe it. The worst last page reveal. No. What did you think of this? When I say trash, I'm sorry, this is trash for me.
Okay, so I made him read this book. I knew he would say stuff like this because he does not. Okay, I was a fan of the original Gotham City Sirens. I thought it was
same.
I thought it was fantastic. I liked the grittiness of what they did with it, but over the years, it's become sort of a joke. Like it's become a joke, and it's softcore TNA for folks who like that sort of stuff. I'm sorry, it is. I mean, they literally have a call in which Harley calls up Ivy and she's getting ready to have sex with a woman, and they're having this, and it's just the conversation and everything that's going on between it is just so comical and just so silly that you're just like, what? And then Catwoman breaks into Harley Quinn's house and they have this pseudo fight scene, and all she could have done was like, hey Harley, it's me. So it's like the drama, and they have to break into this place, so they're not even actually in orbit. It's they go to a rave in this club, and then Despero is doing something with these it's a mess. It is a mess. The artwork though in some spots is really fun. And so again, if you like this could definitely be your guilty pleasure, because
I agree.
It is exactly that.
Triple B, this book is exactly for you, dude. Exactly.
It is such a cash grab sort of, oh my god, I can see half a boob, and oh my god, it's lesbians. Oh my god, they go to a rave. Like the colors, everything about it is just cotton candy, and that's it. So
I just want to let Nobody's Illusion know that TNA is titties and ass.
Yeah, tits and ass. So
titty, TIDD.
Yeah, and so and sometimes back in the day, you had those kind of cupcake or centerfold type of things, and So anyway, it's not good. It might be better in a trade. I think this is one of those books that you honestly, if you're at the end of a con and you hear someone yelling half off books, and you're diving in the half off books, and you see this and you can get it for like $5 or something, you'll pick it up, read it on the plane home from your con, and then you give it to your little brother. Like that's literally what this is, and hopefully he'll
and a tissue.
Yeah, stop it. Anyway. Okay.
Right.
So now we'll go to the high art section with Captain America by Chip Zdarsky.
Hey, Leonard. All right. Chip Zdarsky was the writer of this new #1. Artist Valero Schitti. I like saying that name. Color artist is Frank Martin. Oh, here we go. VC's Joe Caramagna. Love it. And the cover and recap page art was by Ben Harvey. I got the Luciano Vecchio fun.
The Independence Day 4th of July.
Yeah, I had to, because Hulk is playing a drum, and I think that's pretty cool.
Okay.
So Barlord really liked this book.
I'm happy you liked it, Barlord. What? I'm happy you liked it.
I take it you weren't. You didn't like this book very much, did it?
I was confused at the time in which it took place.
Right after 9/11.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that means Cap came out of the ice in 2000?
Yeah.
2001.
So I was a bit confused at that at the beginning. So again, we're getting a little bit more revisionist history.
Yeah, Barlow just said major retconning.
Yeah, and I don't know how I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling about this book. This book is a book that I'm going to have to read a couple of issues to see where Chip Zdarsky is going, because if he's going to stay completely in the past and kind of redo and give a sort of a quote unquote definitive until the new writer comes in history of Captain America, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, because I hate to tell everybody. Maybe I don't hate to tell. I don't know. I like Captain America when Captain America is fighting supervillains. I personally do not like, and this is just me, when Captain America gets. I'm trying to say this how I say this in the right way, not in the right way, but in a much more. When Captain America starts getting very like retrospective and he starts talking about like, the American dream and ideology and stuff like that, like I get kind of like, okay, I like Captain America when he's fighting Serpent Society. I like Captain America when he's fighting Baron Blood. I like Captain America when he's fighting Red Skull. I like Captain America when he's fighting larger than life villains that attack America and its ideals. That's what I like. When we go back and do these sort of like humanistic stories about Captain America, that gets kind of boring to me. I'm sorry, it does. So I don't know if this run of Captain America is for me, and I'm fine with that. And I'm fine with everyone who loves Chip Zdarsky and they love what he's doing with this. But I just don't know if this is for me. That's all. Rich.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I read Cap back in the 80s when he stopped being Captain America, became the Captain. It was I read for like you. I love the Serpent Society. Like I have pretty much all those issues. I love the Zodiac.
Yes.
I loved when he there was a couple issues where he fought for the Mutant Massacre. Autumn Pestilence. I think he fought her. I also liked when Steve became the Captain and fought against Iron Man. Like, they gave us some really good stories back then.
Mm-hmm.
Then I stopped reading. Then I picked him up again, maybe in the 90s, a couple times, depending on who he was fighting. Again, he's like Batman for me. I like the villains he fights.
Yeah.
That's what I'm reading for. So you wanted to read this. I actually wanted to read this too, because like Kyle said, it was a Canadian writing Captain America, the symbol of America. And I guess I was also confused because the first page sets up 9/11 and that boy wants to be a fighter. And then from my understanding, the hidden figure at the end of the book is going to be this boy given the super soldier serum. And when does that make Steve come out of the ice? So for me, the timing, I was very confused on when the timing of this was. Thaddeus Ross is in it, meeting Steve again.
Yeah, he joins the army. He goes back into the army,
which it makes sense. They even explain it like he has nowhere to go.
All that makes sense to me.
Yes. Yes, Kelly. I also read Captain America when Bucky was Cap. I also really liked that run, which was in the early 2000s.
Liked the Ed Brubaker run. Read it all. Thought it was fantastic.
But
it's the first issue, so
it is the first issue, and I'm very curious as to where he's going with this.
Yeah,
because I'll
read it. I'm definitely gonna read it, and I'll continue on. I'll see what happens. I really hope that that kid at the end is a new version of Nuke. Actually, I think that'd be very interesting. A very super hardcore patriotic, like destroy all foreign interlopers or foreign insurgents type of character. Like I would love for him to tackle, you know, possibly Nuke versus Captain America. You know, but then it becomes this whole thing about
ideological.
Yeah. Turmoil and you know he likes to do stuff like that. So we'll see. Who knows?
Wait, one thing real quick I did not enjoy was it's about Doom. I am sick of Doom.
Yeah.
Doom, sick of Doom, sick of Doom.
I'm annoyed.
Sick of Doom.
Okay, so we only have a few, like maybe 2 minutes before we have to go into our giveaway. But I wanted to say if you could go on to the next comic real quick, Kyle, just real quick to show the cover. Godzilla versus Thor is my pick of the week. It was fantastic. I loved it. I thought it was great. I love that the hand was in it. I loved the blood sacrifice in order to bring Godzilla back. I loved that the hand corrupted Godzilla, and then Thor sent him to hell, and they fought for like eternity. I thought that was fantastic. I thought the artwork was great. Aaron Cooter's art is fantastic. The whole issue was great. It was fantastic. It was my book of the week. I just sat there stunned by reading it. And it's a Godzilla book. Godzilla versus Thor. Who would have known? Great. Fantastic issue. Out of all of them.
It was written by Jason Aaron. Aaron Cooter was the artist. Jesus Albertov was the colorist. VC's Joe Sabino was the letterer. And the main cover was done by Aaron Cooter. I got the Simonson cover, and Coog got the Michael Cho cover. He likes the Versus covers.
Yeah,
I have to say, I also agree with you. This book, we have read every single Godzilla. The last Godzilla one we read was a major letdown. It was the Avengers one. This one, I think every single person watching us, whether it's live, whether you're watching this on repeat, if you want a really well done story, and it's kind of set in continuity because they talk about the Punisher becoming the leader of the hand.
Yes.
And how the woman says it was failed, but I tried. This was a great book. The art was spectacular. The story, I'm hit or miss with Jason Aaron.
Yep.
He was born to write Thor. I will say there are not many writers who really get Thor and the voice, but Jason Aaron, this book was so good.
Yeah, I know, Barlow. We should have started with this book, but hey, we ended on a good note. So yeah. Alrighty. Moonshine. What is it? Moonshine Mud Chops. Let's go. Producer Kyle. Oh, just tell me if you don't like that, Kyle. I won't do it ever again. But I think you like him. I think you secretly like the nicknames. But here we go. Who is it? Who is it? Who gets it? Who gets it? Let's see. Leonard. All right.
Congratulations, Mr. Leonard Pig.
Okay, if you could yeah. Kyle, sorry, I had a huge brain fart. Kyle's
the form that I'm about to put in the chat.
Yes, Kyle's gonna put the information in the chat. If you could click on that, please, and sign all that good stuff. We promise it is not a Faustian Mephisto deal. Just I got to get the information that way I can send it to you. So just trust me. Richardson coming for your soul, and because you won the cover, and yeah. So having said all that, we love you. Have a fantastic Fourth. Hi, Zax. Please remember, we will not be here next Thursday. Hopefully, Kyle will be taking our spot, and you'll get to hear his dose of tones until the following Thursday, in which we will have our conversation about Superman and how awesome it was. Yes, Kyle.
No, I'll be here next week. I may do reviews. We'll do some sales. We'll do all kinds of stuff.
You're right.
But I will tell people why young people's slang is not good.
Yes,
be sure to yell at them.
Yes. You'll get to hear old man Kyle yell at the clouds. So for an hour and a half.
Thank you everyone for spending
your
Thursday with us. You know, it's a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, we really do. Rich and I really like doing this with all of y'all, talking about comics. Or we wouldn't have done it for as long as we do. So having said that, we're not gonna prolong this. Y'all have a good night. We gotta let Kyle go to the restroom before the next show. Oh, there's no next show.
So
Kyle's off for the rest of the evening. Have a great time, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.